Imagine getting access to all news articles about Narendra Modi. Are you interested in knowing how to do this in Python? Then this is the video for you. Let's get started right away with the video where we'll try to get all data about news articles related to Narendra Modi. So we are going to use this website called Guardian to scrape the data. Okay, so as you see, we have a lot of Narendra Modi ji news here, right, for various months. And as I scroll a bit more down, you can see that there are page numbers, right? Obviously, this will give info about, I think, older articles. Okay. So first step, what we need to do is to access this through the API, we need to get an API key. To do that, you can go to Guardian API key, like type it on Google, right? Go to the first link, and here you will have an option to select for registering a developer key. You click that, it's absolutely free. Fill in your details, basic details, click on register. You should get an API key, an alphanumeric key delivered to your email ID. Okay. I already have that set up and ready. Okay. As you see here, I have the API key and I've already imported some packages as well. There is just some warning here. I'll clear the output. So essentially, I have the API key ready. Okay. Now to access, we need like some kind of URL, right, to access the API. So for that, you can go to this Guardian API documentation. I will put this URL link in our description section. And if you scroll down here, you'll notice that the URL will look something like content.guardianapis.com. Okay. Then you have the search element here. But in our case, since we know we are going to search for sure about Modi ji, we can put this world/Narendra Modi as part of the URL. Okay, keep that in mind. Second thing is there are some other arguments. So as you see, there are a lot of pages that were there, right? To access older pages, we need to put page number. Okay, page number is an important argument. We obviously have the API key as well. API key is where you need to put your API key. Okay, and suppose we want to restrict the timeline of the information we want to get, we can also, as you see, use a from date argument. So this basically will take information from a particular date in the past. Okay, so these are some of the information you guys need to know. And also another thing is, as you see, the article type, the type of post can be like an article, a poll, a video, or a live. So in our case, we are just going to try and extract the article data. So we will also put this type argument and declare it equal to article in the URL. Okay. So let's see how we are going to go about this. Let me just scroll back up and take a sample URL. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, let me click on this. So I'll take this as the base. Okay, let me say URL equal to this one. And as I told you, first thing we need to do, we need to change world and then Narendra Modi, right? That's how it is in that URL. And let me also add a from date here. Let's say I want to see from 2021 1st Jan only. Okay, let's say first page equal to 1, and let me bring the API key before. So I will just, you can put this in any order. Okay, this arguments, it doesn't matter. So after from date, I will put API key. So it is equal to test, but ideally I want it to be equal to this value. So I can just copy my value, no worries, and replace test with that. Okay. And what else? I also talked about type. So we can say type equal to article, as we saw there, another ampersand. And yeah, we don't need this debate and all that stuff. I can remove. So we can stop with page equal to 1. So we have API key, from date, then type, and then page. Okay, we got the information. So normally, as you guys know, how do you like access a URL, right? First of all, you need to give a request. So let me declare a variable called response and say it is equal to request.getURL. Okay, as usual. And if we print the response, what will we usually get? You can guess. Okay, I have not declared the URL. I mean, I didn't run that statement. Now when I run response, you get 200. 200 means it is successful. Okay. So now to extract information in the response, if I go back to the link, as you see, this is kind of like in JSON format, right?
So we need to extract the JSON. How can we do that? I can simply say new variable, say x, and call it as response.json, right? And now if I print x, you see we'll get like this, right? Essentially we get like the JSON format. Okay, as you see there are total of 105 articles and each page has only 10 articles, right? Size of the page is 10, means each page will have 10 articles. So for 105, how many pages will we need? So for 10 pages, one article. That means for 100 pages, 100 articles will need 10 pages. Then the 11th page will have another 5 articles. So our page numbers total should be 11, and that is what is here, right? Just to cross check. Okay. So this is what it is. Okay. But this is only page number 1 data. Okay, right? Like we are getting only page number 1 data. What if we want to get like same way for page 2, page 3? One option is you can manually type page 2, page 3 and get all the inputs and then get all the outputs and then append them. But of course, that's not like the way programmers will do it. We can use a for loop. Okay, I'll show you how we'll do that. So I'll add a new cell, and first of all let me create like a blank list. Let me call it URL list. Okay, so I'll declare it blank, step number 1. And now I can create a for loop. So I can say for I in range, so we know there are 11 pages, so I can say for I in range 1, 12. So this will basically run from 1 to 11, right? So in that, let me say a equal to, and I'll simply copy this URL part, everything except the number of the page. Okay, just observe what I'm doing. So I will close this here. Okay, so this is a, right? There's no page number in that, right? Let me say b equal to string of the I, right? So what this will do is, in each case it will do string of 1, it will convert 1 to string, then string of 2, it will convert the number 2 to string, and so on. Then I can concatenate these two strings, and let's say c equal to a plus b, right? This is how you can concatenate strings. And finally, whenever you get a value for c, I will append that to the URL list. Okay, so I can say URL list dot append of c. Okay, and let me create a new cell here and let me run this. And now let's see what we get for URL list, right? We have appended all these values. So as you see, we get basically all the, the 11 URLs we needed automatically, right? We didn't need to do it manually. By using a for loop, we have generated all the URLs we need. Okay, this is good. So now this response we've written, it is using this URL argument, but we need to do this for all the 11 URLs which are now present in this URL list, right? How can we do that? We can use a function. Okay, so let's maybe add another cell here right after this, and let me scroll down a little bit. So I will declare a new list. Let's call it like information, right? That's what we want to gather. I'll leave it blank. Okay, and I'll put this whole thing in a function. So let me say let's say, since we are extracting JSON, I'll give it a name like URL1, JSON of URL1. You can give it any name you want, it's totally up to you. Let's align this. So same thing, right? So response equal to request dot get of URL1, right? Because that's what we are using here. Then x equal to response of JSON. And what do we want to do? Every time we get these values, we can append this x to this blank list called info. Okay, so I can say info dot append of x, very similar to what we did just above, right? To append the URLs to the blank URL list here. So it's the same procedure we are doing here, right? Let me just clear these outputs. Okay, this will be the function. Okay, and we want to run this function for all the 11 URLs present in URL list. How can we do that? Can create a new value called output, and I can say, hey, please run this function, right, for this URL1 value in URL list. So that way it will iterate through all the 11 URL values and get our output as desired. Okay, so let me run this. This might take, I think, like some time, probably 10 seconds. Okay, it has finished quickly. And now if we see info, magic will happen. Now as you see, Now we have, as you see, 105 values, and as I scroll down, I think we literally have all the 105 articles, right? Like their information. So you see, we have a lot of information, right? This is where the magic happens. So by running that same function for all the 11 URLs, now we have all the data. Okay. Now we are going to learn how to work with JSON. Okay. So first of all, let us check what is the length of this info, right? Obviously 11, because there are 11 pages, right? It makes sense. Let me again type info. Okay. So suppose I want to access like this value, like pages equal to 11. How can we do that? So it is in the first element, right? First of all, so I can say info of 0. Then within that, first we need to type response, right? That is the outermost value. And within response, you have this value called pages. So within response, you type pages, right? So this should give us the value 11. Makes sense. Instead of pages, if I type total, we'll get 105. Okay. Let me keep info below so you guys can still see it. So when I type total, we get 105. Okay. Within the first index, I'm accessing response, and within response, I'm accessing total. Okay. So now let's take it a little bit further. Let us say I want to get like the, we have this thing called results. Within that, I want to get the web title, for instance, right? So results is basically within response, and within results, we have web title. Okay. How will we go about this? So within response, first of all, I have to access results, right? And as you see, results has multiple values, right? So this is one value, then again there is another value, and as I scroll down, you get more and more values, right? So results is like number of results per page. I think it's 10. So results has 10 values. So in that, if I want to access the first value, I can again put results of 0, and within results I want to access web title, so I can just type web title. This is how it looks. So we get Bollywood is obsessed with Pakistan. That is the heading which we have here, right? Bollywood is obsessed with Pakistan. So instead of 0, I put 1. We'll get the second result, which is that Tory peer withdraws something. Okay. And usually, as you see, each page has 10 results. So if we put of 9, we'll still get value. So some Guardian view on Moody's India is coming. But if I put 10, it'll be index error because there are only like 10 values. So it will run from 0 to 9, right? So this is results per page. Suppose I want to access the second page, what I can do? I can simply go here and change page number, right? Like, so 1 means it's the second index or second page. So you get different values. Indian government accused of ceding land. And as we have 11 pages, as you saw, up to info of 10 should work, right? But remember, in the last page, since we had only 105, the last page would have only 5 articles. So up to results of 4 will work. As you see, it works. But for previous pages, up to 10 will work. So for previous page, if I say 9, that will show the 10th article web title in that page. And we are getting it. Okay. This is how we are going to iterate through, the pages and also the article numbers in each page. Okay. Now that we have this base, how can we get like all these values now? Obviously, we can try to write like a for loop. Okay. So what I will do here, as usual, let me create another blank list. Let's say final list. Leave it blank, and I'm going to run this. Super. And again, what I'm going to do, we have to create 2 for loops, 1 to iterate through the pages, 2 to iterate to the result in each page. Okay. For let's say for a in, or let's say new value, let's say for k in. So for pages, we know ranges from it has to start from like basically 0 to 10, right? 0 to 11 we can put here because we have 11 pages. And the other one is for j in range. So this runs from 0 to 9 usually, except the last page where it will run from 0 to 4. So here I can put 0, 10. Okay. Okay, and now it's easy, right? Let's say we can type value is equal to, and we can create a dictionary of some of the interesting values. Okay, you can say dictionary of let us say I want to first like do within results web title, right? Like the one we just saw. So I can say web like website, or like let's type web title. Okay, and this is nothing but is equal to, can simply copy this. Okay, so here instead of 9 we will replace it with the I, and here we will replace it with the J, right? So this will be web title. Okay, what else can we get? Let us maybe get there's a column called section name, right? So let's say section name, I give it a name, and then I just paste this. So instead of web title, I need to change it to how it looks there, section name, N with the capital, and as usual this is J, this is I. Okay, and maybe let's get one more thing, when was it published? So is there a column like that? Yes, there is web publication date. Okay, let's copy this and let me give it a name, published date. Okay, let me just hold this here and I'll copy this full thing again, and yeah, I have to just replace section name with web publication date. Okay, so this is what we are creating as a dictionary, right? 3 values, and then I will append this to the final list, right? So final list dot append of value. So it will iterate through each page and each result. But remember, we are putting J as a range 0 to 10, but in the final page that won't work. It would ideally throw up some index error. So to avoid this, if you guys know, we can use something like try and except statement. So I can just put this like here. So I can say try. I think we need to now like try and align all this again. Okay, so it will be here, and then again let's just remove this and align it properly, and one last time. Okay, so this is there. So this is normal case, but whenever you get an index error, like it will happen in the last page where there are only 5 articles, then you can say print maybe done or something. Okay, so I've declared the final list. Now I can just run this. I hope it will work. Okay, okay, what did I do? So I created dictionary, value is fine. I think I left an extra bracket here. Let me remove that. Now it's working. Okay, now let us see what is there in final list. Okay, it's blank. Let me run this again. I hope the spellings are the same. Cool. Let's see final list again. Okay, it's still blank. So this is what happens sometimes, right? As programmers, we make silly errors. As you see in the loop, I have K and J, right? But here I have declared I unnecessarily, right? It should have been K, right? Like I just made a very silly error here. So always be careful. So this should be K, then this should be K, then this should also be K. Okay, I hope this should work now. Let me run this again. Let me see final list, and we have all the values. Okay, so if I have to convert this final list to a data frame, what could we do? We can say data new is equal to pd dot, I think it's data frame like this of final list. Okay, and let's say data new, and we have it now as a data frame. Okay, perfect. So we have the web title, section name, and also the published date. Okay, so you can now save it to CSV and do further analysis. But as you see, it's a very easy way to go about scraping data. And always be careful with for loops. I declared a k here and I put I by mistake. These errors do happen, so keep them in mind. If you like this video, do consider subscribing to the channel. Wait for more interesting videos like this. I'll see you again in another video. Till then, take care. Bye.